join me in giving a warm welcome on stage. Honorable Francis Addai Nimoh.
Papo dende, papo dende, papo dende, papo dende, papo dende, papo dende, papo dende.
Thank you very much, Madam MC Nana Yabrefu Danso, for the kind words that you have said about me. Some people never knew a lot of these things about myself. And so I have also gone through the mill to get to this stage in my life. Mr. Chairman, fellow Ghanaians, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the media, invited guests and friends, fellow members of the New Patriotic Party, allow me to start by conveying my warmth along with the New Year greetings to you all, and to thank you immensely for your presence at this important forum. Thank you for kindly answering my invitation. As we say, there is time or season for occurrences that appear under the sun. So today is a special time that has come, rooted in my life journey, a time to share with you my political aspirations. Aspirations dedicated to serving and to improving the lives of all Ghanaians. But as you know, and as they say, the devil is in the details. So I personally think that it is important to present today's detail clearly. Without clarity, there is always the risk of generating wild headlines and generalities that may spark harmful divisiveness and polarization, as we have seen happen at times in other countries. As you will come to learn, my leadership is about uniting our amazing energies throughout the entire country. It is about bringing together our individual experiences and inspirations, while also respecting the many differences in our party. We want to foster inclusivity, not divisiveness. This is why it is important that I share with you, and through you, the media, to the world, the aspirations and characteristics I consider are required of the next leader who will be entrusted with the helm of the new patriotic party. A leader who will serve the nation along with a renewed governance model needed to serve all Ghanaians in the best possible way in these changing times. As most of you may know, our country goes to the polls in the next 22 months to elect members of the new parliament and the next president of Ghana. With a clear focus on these December 2024 elections, it is important to re-echo the mantra of the new patriotic party, which we hope will resonate with all Ghanaians. Break the 8. Surely we can and we shall break these generally unimpressive 8-year cycles. We know that the National Democratic Congress will preach and promote the maintenance of the status quo, seeking their turn at all costs, with the main reason to grab power. Or on the other hand, could there be a surprise emergence of a third political force? In my opinion, this is unlikely. The situation, therefore, places the hearts and minds of voters, particularly the undecided voters, at the crossroads in their political decision in the next election in 2024. Some voters have emotionally declared that they may choose not to exercise their civic responsibility in December 2024. But I believe that the proposed program we have carefully crafted over the last year to truly serve the country, which I am announcing today on behalf of our growing team of truly serving and caring and talented individuals from all regions throughout Ghana, will tip the scale in favor of the new patriotic party. This program we are proposing today will indeed incite the people of Ghana to break the 8. The 8-year political cycle that have been subjected to between the NPP and the NDC since 1993. As we say, life is not a game, and politics should not, as such, be played as if it were a power grab game. My growing team and I are committed to making Ghanaians proud of having exercised the appropriate choice for leader in these particular times. The 2024 elections, while it is primarily a Ghanaian affair, will also signal to the world how consolidated and lasting our democratic experiment truly is. It is for this reason that I urge all stakeholders, mindful groups, as well as individuals, to approach the 2024 milestone with a mindset of peace, dissipating any accumulated bile acrimonies and unhealthy rancor. I am particularly focused on the work ahead And I believe in our abilities as a people to pass the test and to prove that we have the innovative spirit within our party to shine once again. There is no denying of that fact, as things have been standing till now, that either the NPP or the NDC may be poised to win the 2024 elections. However, with today's announcement, as you will see over the next few months, there is a growing movement that is calling for a robust NPP leadership that will renew our party. A renewal that will lead the country on a trajectory of prosperity for all. We want to be well positioned to gain the trust of voters in the next national elections. As a highly motivated and well-organized team, we believe that we have what it takes to break the 8-year jinx, which has punctuated and in retrospect that occasionally brought unnecessary difficulties that have impacted the country in our electoral history since the onset of the Fourth Republic. The NDC, on the other hand, may have sufficiently communicated its readiness to simply snatch power come 2024, with no clear and viable ideas as to how to make each Ghanaian attain a better life. Clearly, the battle lines have been drawn between the NDC and the NPP. With the battle lines drawn, may I pause to ask the question? And of course, this leads me to ask the question: can the NPP, in fact, break the 8 and be awarded a new mandate? Ladies and gentlemen, my straightforward answer is, and I don't seek to quote any outstanding world leader, the answer is big yes. Yes, we can. Yes, it is indeed possible. But my friends, this is contingent upon 3 main conditions which we need to satisfy to break the 8. And condition number 1, first and foremost, is to ensure the internal unity within our party. This means providing all members a reason to feel at home and to be proud to be part of our renewed party. This, my friends, will maximize our strength for the political task at hand for 2024. To achieve this, I urge all party leadership structure, from the national, through the region, through the constituency, through the electoral areas, to the polling station, to the many members of our party, members who do not hold any positions in the party now, that we foster unity amongst the rank and file of our party. We can certainly learn from the lessons of painful outcomes we experienced in the 2008, 2012, and 2020 elections, which frankly caused our party to suffer as a result of disunity. To win the trust of Ghanaians, every member of the party is encouraged to foster unity. Second condition, improving and consolidating the performance of the current NPP-led government. Indeed, The government performance, in my opinion, is the main deciding factor in the minds and hearts of Ghanaian voters. It has a huge impact on the outcome of elections. Again, as we witness this in the 2000, 2008, and 2016 general elections, where there was the 8-year cycle in the 2000, 2008, 2016, the impact of government performance on the elections outcome. That is what I'm talking about. I therefore strongly encourage His Excellency, the Akufo-Addo-led administration, to work relentlessly to address the most pressing socio-economic challenges that are now caging our country. And the third condition, to enable us break the 8, is to allow all NPP delegates to assess each aspirant, prospective aspirant, in order to select the most suitable person to lead the party forward as its presidential candidate. It is therefore critical that the selection process be duly respected. And I'll say more on this point. Given these 3 conditions, we have come to the conclusion that a roadblock will be inadvertently created for ourselves as a party if MPP delegates decide to choose a face that recognizably may be caught in the so-called fatigue web. The question has been brought up on a number of occasions. Would it not be the best solution here be a fresh new face, a face that nonetheless brings the needed experience and maturity with both the private and public sectors, whilst also beaming with hope and enthusiastic energy to serve the Ghanaian people? In my opinion, the prevailing circumstances of our party now require a new face as the next presidential candidate. And I say the new face to win the 2023 NPP flag bearer contest. Mr. Chairman, it is important before proceeding further to point out the characteristics of the new face to win and what characteristics that new face must possess or should offer to the NPP rank and file and to the Ghanaian people. These characteristics will generate vibrant enthusiasm with the rank and file members of the party. We are all poised for the revival, for the revitalization, and the rejuvenation of the NPP, and thereby enabling us to break the 8. I hope you can agree with me that these characteristics should include, but not limited to, the following. 1, just being a natural unifier. That new face must just be a natural unifier, not an artificial unifier. The second characteristics, that new face must have an unblemished character and a history of service. You need to have an unblemished character so that people can testify about you, people can witness about you. And so you need that outstanding character for people to know, and then they can testify. And then the third characteristics is that that new face brings a new energy and a fresh appeal to successfully harness harness the challenging times and opportunities ahead. Mr. Chairman, a fractured party or a fractured NPP cannot win in 2024. It is therefore critical for all members to choose a candidate who is an unrelentless unifier, a leader who is not trapped in any factional exchanges. It is indeed disheartening to know that certain factions have been emerging for some time now in our party. And I am not afraid to say this loud and clear, that those factions have become, over time, an entrenched phenomenon that frankly has no place in our party. Simply put, such factions can only cause a devastating erosion of our relevance in the eyes of electors, who may seek solutions elsewhere. These factions, stemming essentially from a herd mentality, are reprehensible and ought to be discouraged if we seek to be appealing once again to Ghanaians. It is therefore fundamental, to put it mildly, to dissipate all attempts that spark baseless factional fires ahead of 2024. This, in my view, must be addressed and resolved as a priority. Unifying our members with an appealing program will ensure that each contribution under the flag is welcomed and celebrated. I therefore invite all members of our party to spearhead these efforts to develop a sustained unity, which will then enable us all, as a renewed party, to achieve great things together for the benefit of all Ghanaians. So, to summarize, most importantly, we need a new wave, a new phase, a phase that represents a genuine movement that provides hope for those members who may have been disgruntled within the party. We need a leader who can re-energize the grassroots for the odious task of breaking the eight. I think that by now, many of you may be itching to hear a formal announcement as to who this candidate could possibly be. Let me throw the question back to you. My distinguished viewers and guests here today, if we agree that the standards that I have enumerated here are essential for winning 2024, that they are essential to break the eight, then who then would you think this candidate could and should be amongst all those who have shown interest to lead the party? Now, in seeking to designate the flag bearer of the party, and then to have this person or leader seek to win the trust of Ghanaians as president of Ghana, and please excuse me for seeming to be slightly professorial. You know, sometimes you want to be professorial in academic room. So excuse me if I'm sounding a little bit professorial at this important point. And before you actually entrust such a person with the responsibility to lead our movement and our party so that we can break the eight, there are three fundamental questions that each delegate should ask. Those three fundamental questions. The first one, is the candidate legally and constitutionally qualified for such a position? Question number two, is the candidate morally fit for such a position? Question number three, is the candidate physically and mentally sound for such a position, while having the experience and maturity to truly and efficiently serve the best interest of each Ghanaian? And so in P, we say, Wose, Wofata, na ubetimi aye. And allow me to say it in P. Nananom na chechi hei. Ye pe obi edi akonya ye busa ne se na ebusua no hwan ne se hwan ne fata na hwan ne be de obetimi. I am humbled, Mr. Chairman, I am humbled that my esteemed team has assessed my qualifications and motivations using these three criteria, and driven by my personal conviction and confident that my values and my professional background can be useful in shaping the necessary initiatives that will significantly improve our country, and coupled with the clarion call I have been receiving over these last years from our party members, rank and file, and from the wide consultations and sound advice from the elders of the party, I, Addai Nimoh, and now listen to me, I have thereby decided, and I am hereby officially announcing my candidacy to be elected as the next flag bearer of the new patriotic party in the impending elections. So today puts our questions back. The doubting Thomases, today your doubt has been removed. I am standing before you, before the Ghanaian people, through the press, and giving this declaration or this announcement. And I know what that is coming from the bottom of my heart and breaking my heart. As you may know, and I just want to give you a reflection, as you may know, this adventure is not novel to me. In 2014, when I made my first attempt to be the NPP flag bearer, I came in third. And I recall how I combed through the nooks and crannies of this wonderful country of ours, meeting amazing people. And I'll tell you, in 2014, most places when I went, they will ask me, but where were you? Where have you been hiding? You have the potential. We know you have the potential. But in 2014, they said you will consider petty. And I know that now the combination of the potential and the petty. Even though I did not win that time, I nonetheless had been given the opportunity to sponsor many orphan constituencies and volunteer groups, especially in the Volta region, amongst others. And to help ensure the NPP was awarded the presidency in 2016. So I campaigned together with our state president day and night. That was my joy. The joy was that the NPP secured power in 2016 and elected all of us. Although I was somewhat sidelined in the appointment of the current NPP government of President Akufo-Addo, I I have remained loyal to our party because, excuse me, let me take that question. I have remained loyal to our party's core cause, to which I have been dedicated to since its inception. So whether appointment in public office or no appointment in public office, the NPP for all of us. It is worth noting that every success story has a failure portion or component, so as to how to make it complete. Would you not say so? Domestically, the political life stories of Ejebu Kufuor, of Atta Mills, and of the current president, H.E. Nana Akufo-Addo, are shining examples to me. And internationally, Barack Obama's political life story is the source of personal inspiration and motivation. So allow me to share with you my vision for the NPP as we move forward. And I promise you 4 things. If I'm giving the mandate to lead our great party, and I promise you 4 things that I will commit myself to ensuring and to doing. 1, I will continue to be an effective, result-oriented unifier while upholding and applying the values of justice, mercy, and honesty to support the rank and file of our party members. 2, I will ensure that resources are fairly and equitably distributed among the rank and file. So if I deserve 1 Ghana cedi and somebody deserves 10 Ghana cedis, I should not be denied of my 1 Ghana cedi for it to be added to the person who deserves the 10 Ghana cedis. Under my leadership, fairness, equity, under the values of justice, mercy, honesty shall prevail in our party. And the third one, we are aware that in some constituencies, our party, we do not have permanent offices owned by our own party. We rent some places as our party offices. So if I get the mandate to lead the party, I will commit myself to ensuring that party offices in every constituency will be a permanent place for us and owned by the party. And 4, I will help to establish viable economic ventures in every constituency that will enable each constituency to generate sustained income. As expressed by the ruler or the leader of Dubai, for those of you who have been to Dubai, the ruler or leader of Dubai is called Sheikh Al Maktoum. Sheikh Al Maktoum. And this is what Sheikh said in his famous book titled Flashes of Thought. Life was created simple, and it is important to live it as such. So there must be simplicity in everything, in all spheres of life. One of the basic functions of government is to contribute to enabling its citizens to achieving satisfactory levels of happiness. This becomes possible by applying simple solutions to our relatively simple problems without adding layers of bureaucratic complexity when it is possible. Here is something worth considering. Certain socioeconomic challenges confronting our nation are actually and indeed relatively simple, and therefore their solutions ought to be simple as well. However, people in positions of authority, knowingly or unintentionally, may often refrain from solving problems with simplicity. This can be due to self-inflicted pain lacking in our public organizations that may result from personal greed, selfishness, arrogance, ego, you name it. This is when organizations tend to resort to inducing artificial complex solutions. All that I'm saying is that if life was created simple and it is important to live it as such, why do we want to complex ourselves with solutions to our simple problems? And the reason is that because of the human nature of being greedy, selfish, your ego, arrogance, the simple things will block it and will introduce complexities and not find the solutions to our problems. Insightful leadership knows this and can help make things simple and easily manageable in all public organizations. And this will help generate significant time and financial savings. The fundamental approach is part of our plan. Mr. Chairman, at this juncture, because tangibles are important, as I mentioned earlier, and for the electors to consider, I would like to outline my 7-point development policy or strategy for our beloved country. And for want of time, I will just highlight the main broad plans, and then later we will communicate with you the details of the plans. The first one is on agriculture and food security. Man must eat. Everybody must eat. So if you start talking about how you are going to space, how you go to space on a rocket that you have no idea about, or how you dive and try to get to the bottom of the sea, meanwhile you are hungry. So man must eat. So agriculture, food security is the foremost in my plan and in the plan of our team. And so the summary of it is that we have very good climatic conditions that we should be able to produce our food to feed ourselves. And I would say that at no point in time should any Ghanaian go to school, go to work, go to bed hungry. We should be able to feed ourselves. So agriculture and food security is key. Point number 2, or policy number 2. If you have eaten, then you need some level of education or health. So these two social services are crucial: education and health. And so we will also focus on education. And in terms of education, we'll look at technical, vocational, and skills training programs. That will also be a priority under my watch if I'm given the mandate to lead our beloved country. So our government will coordinate with all major stakeholders to ensure that we improve on our educational system. And then on health, we need a healthy citizen. We need a healthy citizen for our nation. And so we say healthy citizens who study and work in a sustained manner contribute to happiness among one another in their communities. This also contributes to local and national productivity. Our government will assume the responsibility in helping Ghanaians to maintain and improve their health. We will also do this by ensuring that high-quality healthcare services are accessible and affordable for all nationwide, whilst working to reduce health risk. You have eaten, you have gone to school, you have good health. What again? You need employment. So the 4th point is on employment and entrepreneurship. And I say that everybody must come on board. Either you create the job for yourself, you employ yourself, or you employ somebody, or somebody also employs you. And somebody employing you could be a government organization, it can be a private organization, and then you also employing somebody, you become an employer. So that is how we will look at the employment and entrepreneurship in our country together. Then having been employed, what do we need again? We need to have an infrastructure for our country. And our infrastructure need to be developed. Most of it, when we travel outside Ghana, in the developed world, whilst you are airborne and you are about touching down, you can see from the view how developed they are, the symmetry of their development, the consistency of their development. When you are returning to Ghana and you enter the African space, and you see how it is, you become miserable. But ladies and gentlemen, we have the opportunity that we can change it. So under enhancing national and regional infrastructure, we'll look at transportation. That includes our road network, to improve the conditions of our road network. If we have to dualize our roads where possible, we carry out dualization. We have to look at the appropriate materials to be used in our road construction industry. We have to encourage our local contractors to build their capacity. Not only in the transportation sector, but telecommunications too. For technology, we need to ensure that telecommunication is also looked at in our overall policy framework. We also need our housing and water systems to improve on the quality, and all is to ensure that there is a better life for all of us. The sixth point is to have a fundamental restructuring of governance for transparency, a major improvement in public service culture and to our complexities. We respect and believe in the people who hold delegated authority to run organizations that serve Ghanaians in all socioeconomic sectors. In this regard, we are committed to an organizational reform placed at the center of decision-making that will bring increasingly useful services to our people. This will also reduce the concentration of power at the executive level. So we propose, where it is necessary to conduct constitutional reforms, we should not be hesitant to do so. We know that some work has been done, and then we'll have to look at it and improve on it in terms of constitutional amendment. With an effectively functioning governance system, we believe that development and the consequences of good governance will logically flow. And through a thoughtful overhaul of the public sector, which also includes the reduction of complex red tapes, we can envisage an overall cost-efficient and resource-oriented public service. And in terms of the public service, permit me to say this. The principles of the science of public administration, and of course, I'm alluding to this because of my master's background, executive master's background in public administration. The principles of the science of public administration, as espoused by former American President Mr. Woodrow Wilson, will be applied without particular focus on reinventing government where it is relevant to do so. If it is not broken, then we do not need to fix it. So we need an efficient, effective, results-oriented public service. And this, we shall be committed to ensuring that we achieve that in our government or administration. And let me also make this point under the public service. An Addai Nimoh-led administration will carry out national budgeting from first principles. We will no longer fall into the trap of following the usual incremental approaches to budgeting. And for those in the public sector, they know it. because every time let's apply 5%, 10%, 15%. But when we get the opportunity, we have to go to the first principles. What do you need in your organization? What do you need at your region? What do you need here? Then we cost everything. That is the first principles, budgeting, and for which we'll be committed to ensuring. All local and foreign partners will appreciate being able to play on the field where the budget choices are realistic. And finally, one critical element, the seventh component, is on accountability. If you have an efficient, effective, resource-oriented public service, then you must ensure accountability. So an increased public accountability through improved scrutiny and the regular reporting will be conducted by competent independent bodies. And this will provide the bedrock to ensure the optimal and responsible use of the nation's scarce public resources. It will also waste, which has unfortunately been known to result here and there in poor organization and or unethical schemes. Probity and accountability will be at the core of Addai Nimoh's government. There is an eighth point, but that eighth point is deferred for now. At a later time when the mandate is secured and we are into the competition in 2024, then I'll come back to the Ghanaian people to talk about that eighth point or the eighth policy. Mr. Chairman, one of the core values of the New Patriotic Party is to uphold democratic principles, whether internal or external to the party. With this comes the responsibility to ensure a healthy and fair competition in the selection of party officers at all levels of the party. So for those of you who are polling station executives, you went through an electioneering process. Coordinators, you went through an electioneering process. Constituency executives, regional executives, national executives. And so for the flag bearer, there we are also going through a process to elect who becomes the next flag bearer. In this regard, allow me to suggest respectfully, although strongly, that it is paramount that every NPP entity involved in the selection of the next leader should ensure the conduct of a free, fair, and transparent flag bearer elections throughout the entire span of the contest. I'm talking here about the National Council, National Council of Elders, National Executive Committee, Regional Executive Committees, Constituency Executive Committees, Electoral Area Coordinators, Polling Station Executives. The party's constitution provides time frames to deliver fair elections, and it is important that we fully comply with these timeline provisions. One area which can and should be improved is a possible special college election, should it become necessary for us to go through this stage. It is essential to remind ourselves that the objective of the special college election is to shortlist the number of aspirants or nominees to 5. It is not intended, and let me repeat, for the special college election, and some of you say superdelegates or special voting. The objective of the special college election, it is not intended to elect or predict the eventual winner of the main flag bearer contest throughout the process. So if it becomes necessary for the party to go through the special college election, the idea is that we are going to do shortlisting and get the 5 people who will go into the main contest. And of course, for which we all know and you all believe, the gentleman before you here, Addai Nimoh, will be one of the people to be shortlisted. Let me remember that the party experienced this process only once in its history, and that was in the 2014 flag bearer contest, when the special college election was indeed required, and in retrospect, certain important lessons were learned from that ordeal. I will therefore be submitting a formal resolution to the party executives in the near future at the appropriate time. For now, it is not yet time. Nominations have been opened, so you are not a stakeholder. But when nominations open and we have applied, then we become stakeholders, then we can put in any petition that should deal with the requirement to conduct special college elections. In practical terms, campaigning should be allowed for 6 months to the very least, which is in accordance with the party's constitution. So if we do require this exceptional stage this year in the elections process, the adjusted procedure we propose will certainly be useful, cost-effective, time-saving, and also ensure free, fair, and transparent process. And while we are on the subject of improving the election process, may I also caution, in the presence of this wide audience, that this particular provision in our party's constitution, which allows the National Executive Committee to make amends, should not be used to create favoritism in the process. Such initiatives could lead to fomenting disquiet and divisiveness, which we are actually seeking to dissipate. The party's fortunes in 2024 and beyond depend on our vigilance. Good governance for the nation starts here, and our party's own good governance. Mr. Chairman, simply put, free, fair, transparent flag bearer contests must be ensured and be seen as devoid of any undemocratic tendencies and vices. Once we preach unity, with unity comes with what? Justice. And so, if there is justice, there will be fairness, there will be freedom, there will be transparency. And indeed, our motto, the party's motto, is development in freedom. So whatever we do at the background, we know that we must ensure freedom. And that is why I said free, fair, transparent elections or process is required. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the media, I'm just about coming to the conclusion of my address. In conclusion, Mr. Chairman, I formally serve notice here today that I, Addai Nimoh, I know some of you want to use Honorable Engineer Addai Nimoh. Sometimes it becomes too long. Sure, that is correct. Mr. Chairman, I serve notice here today that I am ready, I am able, and I am willing to lead our great party as the next flag bearer and to humbly serve our beloved country as the next president from 2025. Mr. Chairman, allow me to emphasize that our country and our party, NPP, needs a fresh, new face and audacious leadership objectives that will propel us into a more prosperous future. This is the direction our movement has determined for this leadership campaign, and I accept the challenge. A new phase enabling the NPP to break the eight. Indeed, by electing a leader who is determined to do what it takes, will help Ghanaians to live up to their full potential, this fresh energy ought to come from within our party. And the gentleman before you is prepared to answer the call. It takes the decisive and the determined. And let me repeat, once we want that change to come from within, it takes the decisive and the determined will of the ordinary people, some who are gathered here today, for this change to happen. And surely, together, we shall succeed. Together, let us break the 8. Together, let us make it happen. Addai Nimoh. Addai Nimoh. Addai Nimoh. Addai Nimoh. Break the 8 in here. Addai Nimoh. Addai Nimoh. Addai Nimoh. No Addai Nimoh. Long live the media. Long live New Patriotic Party. Long live Ghana. Thank you for your attention and listening to me. Now, abusiafo mama me kwan na media makani nyina no me mono tofa e wo twi kasem ye makani nyina ne se 2024 ye beto aba ye be yi mrahye bedwafo foforo ye be yi omampanyine foforo enu nti abedru pempenso bi a Ghana fo ni bi kura na bamu abu ama won mutimi de ahomtie kase 2024 de media men to aba adentia eya bamubuo nanso de manhyesem wa ho ne se enim fofra onyame a hyehya mayen we ye David anu owo esere no so no ono na oba wo de sa enim fofro ne bade kai enunti ma abamubuo no yenyai na yehu se de akoya chini de yapa ho na emom de da yanim na edoso se impo achia na emuye na yebi nyina no yebetimi aye ama no ayeye me de normal me ensabi to ho me pese NPP delegate bia abato ya ye betue enipa domo amo beto no mobro over 200,000 across the nation, around 208,000 to almost 210,000. Ashaman constituency kwa mobro 1,500. Ashama fomu wa ha enunti ni nyina ne se yema yani enna ho yema yani na ho ne yenhwe ne yenkari obi biara empanimfo a yebani nyina no yenkari obia ne yenhwe se hwan ene yede ne kɔ ekon na no a break the 8 no ebebem na yede enim se owura ogina mo anim ene one mo kasa one Ghana fo nyina ye kasa no mo ma ne kwan a ewo NPP mu a break the 8 no ebeba so many swadi huna mede wo ma party no mede atudwa many swadi huna mede wo ma Ghana nsem enso mede atudwa said ye be ya aban bia ni titu ni dwumadia ne se obema anigye abati mamufuo nti seti mamufuo ni anigye a na chese aban modern mono ento ani ana enkoye na etosini ena opanyina odi Dubai ano oka se enipa ye fa kwan ketekete so na bo onipa nti adenti na onfa kwan ketekete so na onfa ntenase tembia ye pese ye no ma no Yesu ye keka bom na ye bebre na ye hu nanim eni na chiri nanso abrabo we eye simple eye tietia eno nti enye anopai kasa me ne mo aka ewa ha no minim se ato NPP fo akoma so ato Ghana fo akoma so ya bato a ye bekoi ye behwe se emu beda ho na se emu da ho a ye wi a ye nyina de anigye eni odo eni opepa eni bedi the obeba abeye ye next flag bearer the leader of the New Patriotic Party Addai Nimoh onyame ensa ye nyina medamasiku
Thank you very much. We don't have enough time. There will be time for this, don't worry. We'll have time to play all the songs that we have to play. We'll be going off soon on Joy News. We are on Joy News Live and TV3 Live. Another round of applause for Honorable Addai Nimoh. Thank you. My takeouts from his speech was the fact that you have to keep knocking. Perseverance is always the key. Ochese kufuo epemiye. Na ode mobro hufu eja na epemiye. Edru baby ebie no. Males pemiye. Nanado pemiye. Wa pemiye na amfa. Ena males pemiye fama no. 2008. Pemina so no oguso awoyo. Ya enei wo hwe kwan se ekwan ne babie na Ghana fo etumi ehu no mobo na wabo prumu abo within the party NPP no won babie no. The other takeout is the fact that he's talking about a new face. Na just say wo mu aka eya akodu ba ko no wo mu no kwan bi so wo mu ka ban ho wonye minister no e vice wonye vice anu e bo chairman wanya bo chairman na je say kwan bi aso wo mu hyehyem di ade a enunti na wo hie nim fofra e betimi edi party na nim kan na Ghana fo ahu o mmoba na ya Addai Nimoh ne nsem a wo de tuda and na make bi a kire wo no. So therefore it will lead us into the party jingle. NPP had a party jingle for Nanado afterwards and what they asempepe bi amate what they ji na ni bra Ghana fo to abama no. So we'll launch a party song or a campaign song for Honorable Addai Nimoh. Before then, let me introduce Wosu Group from Angel TV called Diamond Dancers from Osu. If you are ready, Diamond Dancers, yeah, right, neja, woman me wosu kakra, woman wosu, pusum, bum, edema MPP delegates, or say, a brand new swayama quine. If the music is ready, let's have them perform. Diamond Dancers from Osu. I'm going to brief, mommy. Why? And you're not ready. So now I would open the floor for my colleagues to ask questions. It wasn't part of the program, but we are asking for that. So therefore, we'll allot 5 minutes for my colleagues to ask questions. Then we'll bring the program to an end. So if you are ready, if my colleagues here are ready to ask their questions, if a microphone could be provided to the gentleman on my left from TV3. Your name and then your question.
My name is Joseph Armstrong. I work with TV3. Just this way. All right, that's fine. All right, my name is Joseph Armstrong. I work with TV3. Just 2 quick questions. The first question has to do with what we are currently battling with as a country, where we are talking about bondholders. They are asking individual bondholders currently to part of the money so that government will be able to restructure the economy. We are asking you, based on what the finance minister is saying, if you happen to be the president in this current state, what will be your decision? What will be your action? Would you go the way the finance minister is going, or you do otherwise? The last question I want to ask is, we didn't hear much of the current president, that is Nanado, about his achievement, what he has done, what you like, what you don't like. What exactly, in your own way, you think the current president has done that you are going to stand on to build your government? Thank you.
No, you can ask your question. 3 at a time.
So, actually, my name is Charles Mesa. But I'm a Kachi Kakrabi Frasantima Tempino. My name is Charles Mesa Samisica Kano. Me Jumao, FM. I'm your Murepoa. Now, Papa Wakasa Bibri, Neso, Yant, a good in Sambiao, a passport on some TV. Now, if you are current sports, now, of course, another a good in some way was normal Unkoye, Nagam Pisa, or Pa, and I'm your next delegate to Mano. Nobody,
Thank you very much. Nasiana Black Stars. You couldn't go Black Garazi, so I couldn't go. It's not a Kwanswano. Ya Sabasa.
She.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is James. I work with Joyders. I want to find out from Mr. Addai Nimoh what's your general assessment of the government of the party you want to come and lead. What is your general assessment of your government? Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have the floor.
Well, thank you very much. For the press, that is your day, because I'm communicating through you to the good people of Ghana. Question number 1, the debt exchange program and the issue of bondholders, whether they should be included or excluded. This is what I would say. When the Berlin Wall was broken, we used to have West Germany and East Germany. When the Berlin Wall was broken, then we had a united Germany. West Germany was more developed than East Germany. So the Chancellor of West Germany called upon all citizens of West Germany to make the contribution to support the development of the eastern side of Germany. And because it was a genuine request that yes, they were one people, one nation, why don't we all contribute at that point in time to rescue or to solve a problem? And today, if you visit Germany, the eastern side is now a modern place, more than the western side of Germany. To apply it to our current situation, yes, we have a debt overhang on us as a country. And what do? The country is also made up of us as individuals. And for all of us to be happy, we have to hold one another. I believe there must be the genuine effort from every individual, every organization. Can we all assist to solve the current debt situation of our country? Perhaps let us not for now look at Nahu Kosam. Let's look at how we can find a solution. When we have found a solution, we can come back to say that Nahu Kosam, so that let's deal with that person who Kosam. This is my view on the matter. If you get to the banks, the customers of the banks are individuals. They are individuals who have deposited their money to banks or financial institutions. those financial institutions cannot exist without their customers, who are individuals. So if you say financial institution A has invested bonds and therefore these are certain conditions, certainly that financial institution A will transfer the effect of those conditions to the customers. Because without the customers, that financial institution doesn't exist. So my simple answer is that, look, we have a real situation. And this situation is not just for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And we have got as a nation to take the hard choice decision. And that is the way we can come out of it. We need the support of every individual so that we can overcome the situation. So for me, yes, individual bondholders, if you live in the country and government services cannot be provided and you are the only individuals holding the money, how beneficial will also that be to you? If you live and security services cannot be provided effectively and efficiently, yet you as an individual, you hold a large chunk of money and you will not help the larger society to overcome our problem, how would you be happy in the society? So the situation calls on every individual for all of us to assist to solve the situation. After getting the solution, we can now come back and sit to my house. Now we have identified you were the main causer. This is the punishment for you. Then we deal with those people as such. Now, the other question was about sports. Of course, if you need a healthy citizenry, sports must be included. So if you have to reduce our health risk, we will encourage everybody to get himself in sporting activities, even physical fitness, physical exercises, and then our blaster, which is number one for us. Madam MC Nana Naya said, Yakudi Nkugu and then Chinani and Adechiye. So there's a need that we improve on it. Yes, I was not specific on sports, but that doesn't mean that I have a blind eye to sports. No, I'm a football fan. Look, I used to be a strong football fan until 1983. There was a match in Kumasi between Kotoko and Haas. After Kotoko had taken a 2-0 commanding lead, and that day it rained, Haas of Folk cancelled the 2-0, scored 3. Kotoko equalized 3-3. Before we could realize Haas had scored the 4th goal. Since then, my heart came down in football. So, I'm a football fan, but I take it easy. I know it is a game of football. There's luck. You can play the best, but by just a slight chance of your opponent, he will score you, and you cannot equalize. It's like Susubribi versus Kotoko, or Akutes versus Kotoko. Those of you who are young, you may not know Susubribi and then Akutes. Kotoko and Haas can play all the games, but the matches with Susubribi, Bofuakwatano, they will score Kotoko or Haas, and you can't explain. So I have my eyes on sports. And then the assessment of the current government. I'm not sure you are calling on me to give a numerical figure. But of course, every government does its bit of national development. The current government started from 2017, 3 SHS, improvement in our infrastructure, and all the rest. So Nanado's government is pursuing its bit of nation's development. The next administration will also pursue. Of course, we will also pursue. And our constitution says that every succeeding government, as far as practicable, should continue with the programs and projects of the preceding government. That is a constitutional requirement. So if you get a mandate to continue where Nanado's administration will leave it, we will have to continue. Some programs we will have to review and bring it in line with current situation. And so we are happy for the next 22 months. That is why in my address I said I'm urging and encouraging the Akufo-Addo-led administration to improve upon the socio-economic conditions of the country so that by December 2024 there will be a huge impact and NPP will benefit from that so that we can win the elections and break the 8. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's the end of it. Oh, can I view? But I said, it was not part of it, but we can have our interviews after we are done. You know, okay, what the last two?
Okay.
Two. Just one question each. The man in white is my senior, so I have to allow.
Okay, good afternoon, and congratulations, Mr. Nimoh. My name is Osei Kofi from Trouble constituency in the Greater Accra region. I have 3 questions. Quick one.
I said one. One. Actually, it's for the press, but you are not part of us. But no problem. Just ask one.
All right. All right, and let me. Regional balance.
Okay.
Balance. Regional development balance. It seems that we are all migrating from our villages to the city, Accra. Please, should the Republic give you the mandate to be the next president of the Republic of Ghana? What are you going to do to curb urban migration, whereby we are not going to leave our rural areas and come to the capital city, make a living? It has made the whole city congested, and it has negatively underdeveloped other regions. So that is my question. Thank you.
Great question. Thank you so much. That's a good question. The microphone is working. Pachoka say Juma.
Thank you, Anaya, for the opportunity. Honorable Addai Nimoh, I have very intriguing question. Ghana is predominantly a Muslim and a Christian country for that matter. There is issue of this LGBTQ, whatever they call it. Now, what is your own opinion, or a candid and vivid opinion of what must be done on this issue? Because it's still pending. Parliament was supposed to pass a legislation on it. They haven't done it. What are you going to do when you become president of Ghana? And 2, affirmative action.
I said one.
Affirmative action.
Please.
Affirmative action.
We don't have time. One is okay. That question you ask is very loaded. So allow him to answer that. Thank you.
Okay. Just to be straightforward, in terms of how to address the rural-urban migration, particularly of our youth, one way is to ensure that there is infrastructure development across the whole country. So if you have good road network, you have good drinking water, affordable, accessible, and then employment within the districts, within the regions. And now by technology, everybody, wherever you are, you can access information because of technology. So the onus will be to accelerate infrastructure development. And once we do that, if I know I'm living at Kitikrachi, I live at Kitikrachi, and there's a bridge that I can cross over within 2 hours and get to Accra. Why would I want to come and live in Accra when I can live at Kitikrachi, work there, and have a good life? So infrastructure is key. And then secondly, it will be the issue of agriculture, employment. And therefore, how to improve on agriculture that can sustain the youth in terms of employment. And I outline all these things in my 7-point plan, which I enumerated before the good people of Ghana. The other question is LGBTQ. This question was thrown to a former Prime Minister of Canada. And you know the answer he provided? He said he doesn't know what happens in the bedrooms of every person in the night. He doesn't know what happens in the bedroom of every person in the night. But of course, we will not encourage that. We will not encourage that. And so, for me, it's a matter that should not even be discussed. It shouldn't come forward in our public discourse. There are handsome and beautiful people opposite who are here. Handsome and beautiful. So what do you want again? So that's my answer. Thank you.
Currently, statistics is showing and indicating that the men have become more than the women. Initially, not a man and also, and the men are also into yes, so papa. Timunya 1-to-1. Why? Na into me moi. Let me call on the chairman to give us small remarks, after which the media would excuse the politicians for them to continue with their conversation. A short remarks from the chairman, and then we leave and you continue with your politics. Thank you.
Engineer Addai Nimoh Francis Engineer Addai Nimoh Francis want to man on one echo. Engineer Addai Nimoh Francis on one echo. Want to man on one echo. Engineer Addai Nimoh Francis on one echo. Addai Nimoh or the hour so never. Addai Nimoh or the couple never. On ye on your papa oh bien no Zadeni or the couple never. On ye on your papa oh bien no Zadeni or the couple never. Yeah yeah fufra be ye your dear be ya bamu oh I put you tray we now on my own idea any new hobby your bema hobby now come from